following the priests and the nobles, Tsar Nicholas of Imperial Russia with his wife and children. One day, all to find death in a bullet-swept cellar.
My grandmother, Ksenia, was Nicholas II's sister, and my father was Nicholas II's eldest nephew. Paradis called him Uncle Nicky. Nicholas adored him, and they went on manoeuvres together and did everything together. And I travelled a lot with the Tsar and with the Tsarina, and was very close to the girls, as there was one the same age as him, and they used to play together and have rollerblade races and cycle races and pony races up and down the palaces. The Russian territories were vast, and they were incredibly powerful. Also, Nicholas was the head of the church. Already there was Bolshevik movements, and the Russian royal family were not as powerful as they were, say, in 1900.
On March the 15th, 1917, Tsar Nicholas II, supreme ruler of all the Russias, was forced to abdicate in the face of political and economic pressure that led in the end to total revolution.
Nicholas and his family were taken to Tobolsk, where they were held, and then from Tobolsk they went to Ekaterinburg, which is where they eventually were murdered. I think the communists were worried that he might be put on the throne again, or at least might have more influence than what they would like him to have.
His memory is revered here, but during his lifetime the Tsar was accused of being both weak and inconsistent, of stubbornly clinging to power. But the Romanovs are credited with dignity and bravery in the months leading to their execution.
The children were Olga, Tatiana, Maria and Anastasia, and the brother Alexei, along with the Empress. Alexandra and Nicholas himself were all shot. After the fall of the Soviet Union, we heard on the grapevine that the bodies of Nicholas and family had been discovered in the swamp outside Ekaterinburg, and there was a movement that they would get a decent burial in St. Petersburg with the rest of their family. In '98, in July, one of my sons and myself went to St. Petersburg for the first time for the funeral of Nicholas II. And there were between 52 and 56 Romanovs.
As the cortege approaches the Winter Palace, the historic home of Romanov autocracy, it slows down, in keeping with a Russian tradition in which the coffins of the dead are driven past the place that was their last home on earth.
We all went in a cortege all the way from the airport to Peter and Paul Fortress. And what struck me, amazingly, there were so many people in the street. And all of them were signing the cross and bowing. And then the Queen had very kindly sent officers from the Scots Greys.
The honour guard included a piper from the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards. Tsar Nicholas was their commander-in-chief.
There was a very long service. They were all laid out in front of the altar, and it all felt very emotional. And it had a feel of holiness and sanctity. It was just nice to have them safely buried.